Hi everyone and welcome to the show. I'm back. Last week I did a bit of an unboxing promo, if you like, for the new Creedence Clearwater Revival album live at the Royal Albert Hall, April 14, 1970. And I've listened to it and I wanted to offer my thoughts. Now, just to give you a bit of a background, Creedence have had a bit of a patchy background with live recordings. In 1970, the album live in Europe was released, and a lot of people bought it, but the quality wasn't really up to scratch as it was. And at that time, they were a three-piece. Tom Fogerty had actually left the band, so it wasn't the full band. Following that, in 1972, the concert came out. And that was supposed to have been, and I think it was labelled actually live at the Royal Albert Hall, when in fact it actually wasn't. They'd labelled it wrongly, and it was done in San Francisco. So the tapes, where were they? Where were the tapes indeed? Well, they've turned up and they're on this album. There have been, I believe there have been some radio bootleg releases. But anyway, this is it. It's come out and it's beautiful. Now, I'd call myself a Creedence fan. They're probably my top three bands of all time. So when I got this album, I was just over the moon. And it's quite clear that Creedence were ecstatic playing to this crowd in London. It comes across. It really does. I mean, they've got a set list here that it's a great balance. I mean, they've got covers, they've got originals. Well, in fact, they've got a couple of covers. So what we've got here is starting with Born on the Bayou. Great track from Green River. They follow that with Green River. Tombstone Shadow. Now, Travelling Band is on here. This album predates Cosmos Factory, which came out 2 months later. So that would have been new to these people. Travelling Band. Fortunate Son, that's always a great live track. Commotion, Midnight Special, great cover of a blues tune. Side two, you have a couple of hits running one after another. So you've got Bad Moon Rising and Proud Mary, and they're played very well actually. Nighttime is the Right Time, Good Golly Miss Molly. So you've got a couple of sort of rock pop covers, and Keep on Chooglin', which really does go over well. So overall, this is a very enthusiastic album. They are top of their game at this stage. They've got the crowd loving them. The album comes across like that. It just comes across like everything is going right. And really, I think everyone really needs to add this into their collection. A couple of things I wanted to mention about it though, and those who have already bought it will understand what I'm saying here. There are a few production problems on this one. So the first two albums, their first two live albums, the concert and Live in Europe, weren't well recorded. And I think the one in San Francisco, the concert, it's got a lot of reverb and bounce back, and it's not a great listen. I haven't heard it for a long time, but I did give it a quick go on Spotify today, and I know what people are saying. About 3 years ago, Creedence released this album, Creedence Clearwater Revival, live at Woodstock. So this footage none of this footage or audio was used in the Woodstock film. John Fogerty was thinking it wasn't up to scratch, so it wasn't used at all. I mean, in fact, it actually is up to scratch, and it's actually very good. Quality-wise, this is probably the best live Creedence concert quality-wise you're going to hear, unless something else turns up, of course. And in fact, they were playing early in the morning. That the band, I think it was the Grateful Dead, they were following, had gone overtime. Things weren't going well, but they came on and gave their best. The thing I like about this one, audio-wise, is that you can hear the whole band. There's a great separation. You can hear John's vocals, his guitar, Stu and Doug, everyone, and you can also hear Tom Fogerty playing rhythm. So you can actually get you get sort of Tom on one side and John's guitar on the other side. You can distinguish between the two. This one I've had a bit of a problem with that. You can hear a lot of John's guitars, a lot of John's vocals. Drums are great. You can hear the bass okay, but I'm having trouble hearing Tom. So I don't know. Yeah, I was sort of questioning the mixing of this eight track recording. Just a couple of things that I wasn't happy about. The other thing was that I noticed on Bad Moon Rising especially, John's vocals are quite distorted. You find it on Born on the Bayou, Bad Moon Rising, there's some distortion. It's like as if they've turned the gain up and sort of clipping into the red. And, this was, well, it's 1970. I mean, what they had, the equipment they used for live recordings is nothing like what we have today. So I think we're very, very fortunate to have this. Firstly, that it's been found and that we actually have this recording. So if you can bypass some of the imperfections in the recording, which I have, you'll find this a great album. Enthusiastic, 10 out of 10. These guys are running hot and the audience are loving it. Great selection of songs on here, especially Keep On Chugling. I love the version on here. It's great. It really is. They're just fired up. They're raring to go. Some of the songs do sound a little bit like the studio recording, so they've tried to sort of, I don't know, I mean, I guess with Bad Moon Rising and Proud Mary, they were the singles. They want them to sound as close to the original studio recordings as they possibly can get. But I don't know if you're like me, but when I get a live album, I like to hear a little bit of difference sometimes. I might as well just be playing the album if I'm going to hear the same, well, I might say arrangement, but if it's going to be played exactly the same. And in a few cases here, they actually alter it. I know in Fortunate Son, Doug's drumming beat has actually changed from the original studio recording. Traveling Band just takes off, and rightly so. It's a fresh song to them. I mean, it's probably one they've been rehearsing. They wanted to take it live, and here they are. So, yeah, apart from a couple of the little things that I'd sort of pick out of this, and I would love to have heard more Tom, and maybe that's just what the mics picked up. So when Giles Martin remixed it, and I mean, he only had what he had to work with, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so I think this is a great album. I think for any Creedence fan, I think these two live albums, I'd forget the concert and the live in Europe. I wouldn't even bother going there, and I don't even know if they're even available anymore. But I would get these two. I would get live at Woodstock, and I would get live at the Royal Albert Hall. Difference is that you get quite a different song selection on this Woodstock album, and I'll do a bit of a review later because I'm going to come back and do some more Creedence albums, and maybe a Creedence album ranking. This is it, live at the Royal Albert Hall, live at Woodstock, but no, definitely worth getting. I'll see you soon, bye.